have a preview of our game of the week.
And we'll have the forecast for the Friday Night Fever games tonight. We're also tracking what we have out there now. Just a few clouds here and there. We'll let you know what you can expect for the rest of your Friday, temperature-wise, coming up.
And later, a house known for a double homicide in Tupelo is now facing a new destiny. What the city has in store for this property.
Plus, a judge has been placed on suspension for more than 3 months, found out what he did that led to the highest court pulling him off the bench. Good morning. Welcome to WTVA 9 News Today. I'm Bill Hughes.
And I'm Katrina Berry. But before we get to Friday Night Fever, Emma Packard is standing by this morning to tell us about the house where that double homicide happened is torn down and what the city plans to do with it.
But first, let's find out what's going on with our weather right now with meteorologist Joel Young.
Well, stepping out the door, you wouldn't really notice any big differences compared to what we've seen the last couple mornings. Maybe a little bit more sunshine, but it's still pretty humid out there. That's going to be changing, though. Let's go ahead and take a live look at Storm Track Doppler 9. You can see there's really no precipitation out there. We have some clouds here and there, and perhaps some sprinkles trying to pop over parts of Arkansas. If we have any sprinkles today, it'll be early in the morning. After that, we're going to be drying out. Temperatures in the lower 70s coming up next. We'll have another look at your Friday Night Fever forecast, plus a look at your out-the-door forecast.
Happening right now, the search is on for a man wanted for a statutory rape in West Point. Police identify the man as 33-year-old Juan Rico Parker. If you have leads to his whereabouts, you're asked to call Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers.
Happening overnight, another statue has come down from public space around 2 this morning. Crews outside the Maryland State House removed a statue of Supreme Court Justice Roger B. Taney. Now, Taney is best known for authoring the Dred Scott decision. Also happening today, La Rambla reopened this morning after a vehicle plowed into crowds on the popular Barcelona promenade Thursday, which killed 13. The Regional Interior Department said late Thursday that 15 people were seriously injured in that attack at the central La Rambla district.
And also happening overnight, One World Trade Center was lit in honor of the victims of Thursday's terror attack in Barcelona. The spire of the building glowed with the Spanish red and yellow on Thursday overnight.
The house where the bodies of 2 Tupelo homicide victims were found is no more. The building has been torn down. WTVA's Emma Packard joins us live with what the victims' families think about this move.
Thanks, Katrina. Family members tell us that they're glad that this house where the tragedy happened is now just a pile of wood. Both victims, Andrew Robinson and Timothy Butler, were found dead in the West Jackson Street home back in April. A cousin of one of the victims spoke with WTVA off camera and says the building was a painful reminder of what happened. Tupelo's Neighborhood Development Corporation says they bought the property and had it demolished Thursday afternoon to wipe the slate clean after the crime. As for the double homicide investigation, police say no arrests have been made. If you have any information that could help solve this case, police and family members urge you to call the Tupelo Police Department. Reporting live, I'm Emma Packard, WTVA 9 News Today.
Now on to continuing coverage. 2 men are behind bars this morning on $1 million bond. This after being accused of fatally shooting a Grenada infant earlier this week. Police identify the 2 men as Shaquille Chamberlain and John Brown III. 9-month-old Rashawn Riley died after being shot during a drive-by shooting on Tuesday. Authorities say a stray bullet went into a home, striking the child in his bedroom.
Meanwhile, a man shot by Tupelo police now has a $250,000 bond this morning. Police officially charged 29-year-old Seville Monday of Guntown on Thursday. He's accused of holding up several employees at the Sonic on McCullough Boulevard on Tuesday night. He then ran from that scene where police found Monday behind the apartments nearby. And then he tried to force his way into a vehicle before police fired a shot. Monday remains hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. In Columbus, at last check, 1 man remains behind bars this morning accused of child endangerment and drive-by shooting. That man is 26-year-old Cortez Willis. He and 21-year-old Kedrick Scott are facing new charges for this incident. The 2 men allegedly busted out a Columbus man's SUV window with gunfire, and all of this happened while a 3-year-old child was unbuckled in the suspect's car.
A Tupelo police officer is asking a judge to issue a summary judgment in a federal civil lawsuit against him. Officer Tyler Cook filed paperwork in federal court to have a lawsuit against him over the 2016 shooting death of Ronnie Shumpert removed. Cook argues that Shumpert's family has no material fact in their lawsuit. Cook shot and killed Shumpert after Shumpert ran from a traffic stop. Now the Shumpert family is seeking millions from Cook and the city. Several people around the state of Mississippi are on the run from the law this morning. Bill Hughes has been following the last known whereabouts of several. He joins us from the breaking news desk with what you need to know if you see them. Bill?
Yes, Katrina, happening right now. 2 inmates are still on the loose after escaping from the Coahoma County Jail on Friday. The 2 remaining escapees are Marquise Stevenson and Leandrew Booker, and any tips leading to their capture will yield a $1,000 reward each. Now take a look at this guy on the screen here. As we speak, there's an intense manhunt for Joshua Fletcher. Now he's the man accused of killing Samuel Smith at Chewalla Lake last month. Enforcement are searching for Fletcher in the Grant Parish in Louisiana. That's where they say that he committed a home invasion. And finally, we've been talking about this guy for months now, and we will continue to mention him until he's caught by police. As of now, Adrian Golden has been on the run for 3 months. Now, Golden is wanted in connection with the shooting of his wife, Kimberly Sisk. Now, this happened in Calhoun County near Joe's Market. There is a reward for information leading to Golden's whereabouts. Now, if you see him, you're asked to contact police immediately. Katrina?
Thank you, Bill. New information this morning regarding the disappearance of the Natalie Holloway's disappearance. Now, this comes as remains are being tested to determine if they belong to her. Holloway's father says he and a private investigator found the remains through a tip. The Alabama teen went missing 12 years ago while on a senior class trip to Aruba. The DNA tests are expected to take several weeks. And the time now is 6:07. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Joel Young for a closer look at our Severe Weather Authority forecast. And Joel, what we really want to know is what we need to wear to the football game tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be a great question. I think a lot of folks are going to think, well, do I need to take a raincoat? The answer to that is no. I think rain chances today looking, well, I would say slim, but I think they're pretty much zero. In fact, I kept rain chances out of the forecast completely. Temperatures around 74 degrees at the bus stop this morning. Should be good out there. 88 degrees. Now, maybe some short sleeves, maybe some shorts, of course, your uniform. But of course, as we go into the evening and you go out to those games, it's still going to be pretty warm at first. Temperatures start out in the 80s and they'll drop through the 70s. Coming up here in just a few moments, we'll have a look at what you can expect throughout your day.
Starkville residents are moving closer this morning to having renewed alcohol laws. Now, a hearing on the changes by the Board of Aldermen will take place September 5th and the 19th. Now, one change would be extending sale hours from midnight to 1 a.m. on most nights. Another would raise the alcohol content of beer sold from 5 to 8%. That would clear the way for craft beer to be sold in the city. And Mississippi State is calling for 650 beds to be added to the school by the fall of 2019. Now, this comes as the State College Board approved an agreement with the company. That company will look at developing a unique project to add student housing. The school also proposed building a village full of restaurants and retail spaces for the students.
Tupelo's Development Services Director will lead the search for a new president of Mississippi Valley State. Shane Hooper, in addition to his day job, serves on the state board that oversees Mississippi's public universities. Hooper says that he looks forward to leading the search for Valley's next president.
And happening today, Friday Night Fever. And guess what? You will find full coverage on all the local high school football games right here on WTVA. And to start us off, we have WTVA's Emma Packard live coming up later in our show. She will be at Shannon High School previewing tonight's games between the Red Raiders and the Corinth Warriors. So be sure to tune in to WTVA 9 News at 10 for our Friday Night Fever coverage.
Well, we've been talking a lot about how to keep you and your kids safe while watching the eclipse, but have you ever wondered how it will affect your animals? Well, the short answer is they might act like it's bedtime. But other than that, there's really nothing to worry about. Now, they're not going to care anything about looking at the eclipse, so blindness is not a concern. Now, if you're really worried, just keep them inside. And this evening, we'll continue our countdown to the darkest hour. Now, some are getting married on this day. Others believe the world is coming to an end. WTVA's Daniela Oropeza spoke with two men about their thoughts on the eclipse. One says he has more of a science mind, while the other says he lives by the instructions of God.
Not certain. I think it's the Chinese saw that the sun it was being eaten by a big dragon or something in the sky.
The first eclipse that happened, they thought the world was coming to an end.
Now, one of these men sees this as purely as an event, and the other says it's a sign of things that can come. You can watch more of Daniela's special report tonight at 10.
And don't forget, every night on WTVA 9 News at 10, we are taking a closer look at what you need to know to make Monday's eclipse a safe and enjoyable experience. Our live coverage for August 21st includes WTVA's Matt Lawpon, Emily Leonard, and our very own morning meteorologist Joel Young inside the line of totality. That will all take place from noon to 2 on WTVA ABC.
Happening today, there will be road closures in Tippah County due to railroad crossing repair. This means Highway 15 between County Roads 812 and 706 will be closed in both directions. The closure will go from 5 p.m. today through 8 p.m. tomorrow. A woman has a warning for this morning for your pets. Coming up on WTVA 9 News today, find out what happened that has her ringing the alarm. Stay tuned.
Plus at 6:11, we're tracking a few clouds here and there, but we're going to get rid of some of that, and it's going to be a hot day today. How hot does it get? We'll let you know coming up.
Now, your WTVA Severe Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Joel Young.
Welcome back to WTVA 9 News today. The time is now 6:13, and just so you know, we haven't really talked much about fog this morning, but we are getting some reports of very small pockets of dense fog, and this is a picture that was just sent to us from David in Water Valley. This was along Highway 32, actually just east of town. This is going to be very isolated. In most cases, we aren't seeing much fog. Just be aware that there might be some pockets of that in other places. 74 degrees in Tupelo right now, 73 in Columbus. Visibility down to 7 miles in Starkville and Columbus. And as far as the fishing game report, best fishing will take place around 11:40 this morning. Coming up next, we'll have a look at that 7-day forecast.
And I heard the boom, boom, boom. That's when I fell to the ground because I just knew. I was like, man, they done killed my baby.
And this morning, sadly, the boyfriend of the woman we just heard is dead after a short chase by Georgia officers. Now, this close-knit neighborhood was at a loss for words. Many stood at the crime scene waiting for answers. According to witnesses in the neighborhood was busy at the time with dozens of kids who had just gotten off the bus and were playing outside. Police have not released what led up to this shooting.
This vandalism is a crime, and crime's not how the political process works.
Happening today, one Knoxville resident takes the time to clean the monument, scrubbing it with soap and water. Now, it was covered in blue paint yesterday amid calls to remove it. The statue, made back in 1914, honors Confederate soldiers who fought and died in the battle at Fort Sanders. So while one is cleaning, another resident says these monuments do nothing to teach the history of this country.
And as soon as Rocky hit the water, the alligator flew to him, and I heard one little "er."
Happening now, that same pet owner is putting out a warning after watching an alligator attack and kill her precious dog. 10-year-old Rocky always used to sneak under the fence and go for a swim in the creek behind the house. But while swimming towards home on Wednesday, Colleen McDonald was surprised to see an alligator. She threw things at the gator to try to distract him, but unfortunately, it didn't work. A statue at the center of a deadly clash coming up on WTVA 9 News. The plans that the mayor of Charlottesville has for it.
And you're taking a live look at our Tupelo Tower cam. Check out that gorgeous sunrise. Get out there and take some more pictures of that and send them to us. We'd love to share this here on the air. Coming up next, we'll have a look at what you can expect over the next 7 days.
Now, your WTVA Severe Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Joel Young.
Welcome back to WTVA 9 News today. The time is now 6:18, and we are starting out our day with just a few clouds here and there. Here's a live look in West Point. Overall, a very nice start to our day. Temperatures are sitting at about 73 degrees in Clay County. Your dew points are at 72, so it is a little bit humid still at this hour. However, that is going to be changing a little bit gradually throughout the day. It's not going to be a huge noticeable change, but compared to yesterday, maybe it'll feel a few degrees cooler than it actually was yesterday. Or, well, you know, the heat index is what I'm talking about. We'll show you more about that in a moment. Now, today we'll warm up to the 80-degree mark by 9 a.m. By 11 a.m., we're up to about 87 degrees. Obviously, it's going to be a fast warm up, and we're going to see a lot of sunshine. Rain chances, 0. Donut. Goose egg. It's looking pretty good for today as far as rain chances go. And considering it's Friday Night Football, we're going to talk more about that in a few moments as well. A live look at Storm Track Doppler 9 shows we are all mostly clear as far as rain goes. We have some clouds out here, especially over parts of northwest Alabama, down here around the Golden Triangle, maybe some lingering. But we are clearing out. We also have some pockets of fog to speak of. Don't let your guard down completely, but it's not really that widespread right now. Temperatures are mostly in the mid to low 70s at this hour. Still a little warm, still a little humid. As we go through the day, it's going to be downright hot, but it's not going to be so humid because we're going to continue to see a northerly flow. It's going to bring in this drier air. We won't call it cooler air because it's not really cooler. It's just going to be drier, which allows temperatures to still get into the low 90s, but low 90s will actually feel more like low to mid 90s. It's not going to feel like 100 to 105 or anything like that. 3 o'clock, looks like we have sunshine, getting off of work, sunshine, and as you're getting ready for Friday Night Football, things are looking pretty good. Jim and Andy will be here, of course, for Friday Night Football Fever. Temperatures will be down into the mid-70s by the end of those games. The game of the week this week, Shannon versus Corinth. Into the early morning hours on Saturday, we get those temperatures down into the upper 60s to lower 70s. You know, by the way, our average high for this time of year, or low rather, is 69 degrees. It's starting to go back into the 60s. It's the first time we've had an average low in the 60s since June. So that's obviously a sign that fall is on the way. Plus, it's football time. As we go through the day tomorrow, heat and humidity does return. We'll have a few spotty showers and storms, and temperatures will still be in the low 90s. Highs today up to about 89 degrees in Belmont, 89 in Corinth and Iuka, 91 degrees in Tupelo, 90 in Booneville. Looking for highs around 91 in Columbus, 92 in Reform, 92 in Brooksville. Heat index values should range anywhere from around the upper 80s to maybe the mid and upper 90s. 96 in Macon, 97 in Aliceville. Tomorrow the humidity does really return. We have some upper 90s to lower 100s for heat index values. Look across the north, you can see that there's going to be some sort of relief. What is that? Well, those are those showers and storms. Once they kick in, that's going to put somewhat of an end to that humidity to an extent, but it's all going to come back on Sunday. Only a 20% chance of an isolated shower even through your Monday, which is good news. That's about the minimum rain chance you can possibly get, except for 0 for your Monday. And of course, that's the day of the eclipse. Hopefully those clouds won't stay in the same spot for too long so everybody gets a chance to see it.
Plus, a crash fire leading to a highway being shut down. What police say caused this crash. Stay tuned.
You're watching WTVA 9 News Today with anchors Katrina Berry, Bill Hughes, and meteorologist Joel Young.
And welcome back to WTVA 9 News Today. I'm Bill Hughes.
I'm Katrina Berry. The time now is 6:24.
And happening today, a funeral service will be held for one of the two Virginia state troopers that passed away over the weekend that was killed in a helicopter crash. The funeral for Trooper Pilot Burke M.M. Bates will be held at a church in Richmond. Trooper Pilot Bates and Lieutenant H.J. Cullen were killed when their Virginia State Police helicopter crashed last Saturday. The helicopter was monitoring the protests being held in Charlottesville. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. And also happening today, we're expecting Charlottesville Mayor Mike Singer to make an announcement. It's in regards to the Robert E. Lee statue at the center of last Saturday's deadly clash. Now, the announcement will regard that proposed removal of that statue, a tribute to Heather Heyer, who died in the attack, and the public safety of future events.
Two Confederate statues in Lexington, Kentucky may soon be on a moving truck. Lexington County leaders voted unanimously Thursday night to support the relocation of two Confederate statues outside an old courthouse in the downtown area. Now, during the public comment period, most people asked that the statues of Confederate General John Hunt Morgan on a horse and John C. Breckinridge be taken down. In covering the nation, a semi-truck overturned on a major interstate in the Twin Cities on Thursday afternoon and burst into flames. It shut down the interstate in Bloomington, Minnesota for hours. As firefighters worked to put out the fire, traffic was backed up for miles. Police say they managed to get the driver out of the truck and took him to a hospital. And the time now is 6:26. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Joel Young for a closer look at our severe weather forecast. And on our morning commute, we know there's patches of fog this morning.
Yeah, very thin patches. Well, I say very thin. They're thinly scattered across the area, but in those patches, we've seen some pretty dense fog. So please be careful this morning. Maybe if you live maybe in some lower areas, elevation-wise, you might want to give yourself some extra time. Most of that's been over parts of eastern Yalobusha County and down into Calhoun County. Live look at Storm Track Doppler 9. It looks pretty good, though. Otherwise, temperatures are sitting in the mid to low 70s. 77 in Nashville, 72 in Little Rock. We have some showers over parts of eastern Tennessee. Those are all going to stay out of our forecast for today. We have highs in the low 90s today, and we will see less humidity today, but it will return Saturday and Sunday. More on that coming up.
Well, it may be the largest pot bust since the 80s. Coming up on WTVA 9 News Today, we'll tell you where it took place.
A Lee County Justice Court judge is suspended for misconduct. Find out why after the break.
And at 6:27, we are starting out with a few clouds here and there, but all of that's getting out of here. The sun came up this morning at 6:18. It will set at 7:40. That gives us 13 hours and 22 minutes of daylight for today. Coming up next, we'll have a look at that Storm Track Doppler 9 coming up.
You're watching WTVA 9 News Today with anchors Katrina Berry, Bill Hughes, and meteorologist Joel Young.
Here are the top stories that we're working on at this hour. Happening now, the search continues for a man wanted for statutory rape in West Point. Police identify the man as 33-year-old Juan Rico Parker.
Plus, new this morning, the house of a double homicide in Tupelo is now a pile of rubble. The move was made by Tupelo's Neighborhood Development Corporation. As for what's next, there's been some talks of townhomes being put there.
Welcome to WTVA 9 News Today. I'm Katrina Berry.
And I'm Bill Hughes. Emma Packard standing by. She's got a couple of stories that she's working on for you today, but first.
One of them includes Friday night fever, and speaking of weather, that's very important for today.
It is. It's looking pretty good for Friday night football fever. Here's a live look at Storm Track Doppler 9. We have a few clouds here and there, but overall, it's a pretty good start to the day. It's been a gorgeous sunrise, by the way, so get out and take some pictures of them. Send them to us. Tweet your pictures to us there at WTVA Joel is my Twitter handle. Temperatures right now are mostly in the lower 70s. We'll climb into the low 90s this afternoon. We'll show you what you can expect as far as rain chances go coming up.
Thanks, Joel. A Lee County Justice Court judge has been suspended without pay due to misconduct. WTVA's Emma Packard joins us live with that sentencing and what happened that led to this order.
Thanks, Bill. This is a 120-day suspension without pay, and it all started with a DUI case. The Mississippi Supreme Court ordered the suspension of Lee County Justice Court Judge John Hoyt Sheffield for sentencing John Harper after he had completed his sentence and paid his fines. Judge Sheffield ordered Harper to serve 6 months in a county work center for failing to pay his fines in the 1996 case. But the Mississippi Supreme Court says Harper did pay, and the judge had records proving this. In addition to the suspension, Judge Sheffield will now have to pay a $3,000 fine. Reporting live, I'm Emma Packard, WTVA 9 News Today.
New this morning, the Associated Press reports the U.S. Immigration and Customs arrested 11 people after raiding 8 restaurants. Now, the raid comes after the 11 are accused of violating the Re-Entry of Deported or Removed Alien Act. As of Thursday, all but one still awaits a hearing in Mississippi. The other 10 have all pleaded guilty to violating the law. Across the South in Alabama, the body of a woman killed in an industrial accident is in Montgomery this morning for an autopsy. 45-year-old Eva Syens of Alabaster was pulled from an industrial machine Wednesday night. 5 medics pronounced Syens dead on the scene, and we will give you an update as soon as the results are released. A Fulton man is charged with possession of meth and is out on bail this morning. The Itawamba County deputies identify the man as 52-year-old Daniel Reich. Police allegedly found methamphetamine and paraphernalia in Reich's possession at a roadside checkpoint on Tuesday.
Mississippi officials are uprooting what they're calling the largest outdoor marijuana farm they've seen since the 1980s. The Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics found the plants Thursday growing across more than 4 acres in Jefferson Davis County. Now, as of now, the plant count is well over 6,000, and that number continues to grow. An underground bunker was also discovered along with some generators. And some parents are behind bars this morning after a dress code protest at one high school. Students at Rosa Fort High School in Tunica walked out Wednesday after school officials told them that no colored shoes at the school could be worn because of possible gang affiliation. Now, according to the district's 2017-2018 student handbook, students can only wear solid black, brown, or white shoes. Students and parents say they didn't know about the change.
The plan to produce more A-rated districts and fewer F-rated districts is set in motion this morning. This comes after Mississippi officials voted Thursday to grade schools not only under the current scoring criteria, but also under revised scoring as well. Now, this means the schools would grade by using the higher of the 2 scores. Now, the move follows after technical flaws being identified by officials last year. In Grenada, residents are concerned contaminated soil could get into their water system after seeing crews testing the soil. The city officials say the Senior Citizen Center is being built on an old gas station. Now, one resident says contaminants in the soil could cause cancer and kidney damage, but Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality says only the parking lot is contaminated.
They're remediating it by going in and pulling out the substances. So I think that's a better case scenario than not knowing if anything is there at all.
Officials from the city and Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality said that if there is a threat to residents, they will inform those that are affected.
Mississippi could soon be the new home for Confederate monuments across the country. They would go to Beauvoir, the retirement home of Confederate President Jefferson Davis, which is in Biloxi. The home is offering to take those monuments, preferably without having to pay for them to be shipped there. Beauvoir's executive director says the monuments could serve an educational purpose for visitors. Congressman Trent Kelly now holds the rank of Brigadier General Select with the U.S. Army Reserve. Kelly is the commanding officer of the 168th Engineer Brigade based in Vicksburg. Now, the promotion was approved by the U.S. Senate and President Donald Trump, who signed the order. U.S. Senator Roger Wicker announced Kelly's promotion during this week's dedication of the Mississippi Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Kilmichael.
Happening today, the Uber app is live in the Golden Triangle, in Meridian, and in the Delta. Now, with this expansion, Uber will connect drivers in rural areas, and while doing so, it will also provide job opportunities. So if you'd like to drive and are looking for a job, visit uber.com. And the time is now 6:36. Let's check in with meteorologist Joel Young for a closer look at our Severe Weather Authority forecast. Joel, I don't have to remind you, today is Friday, and it's also the opening weekend of high school football.
Friday Night Fever, it is here, and our game of the week is Shannon versus Corinth. So should be a good weekend for that, or a good day for that. Here's a look at our car wash forecast. We're looking for very high conditions still, but slightly lower humidity. And because of that, we've turned off the rain chances. Temperatures climb up to about 84 degrees perhaps by 10 a.m. We're going to get up to about 88 by noon, 91 degrees by 3 p.m. But instead of 91 degrees feeling like low 100s, it will actually feel like low to mid 90s. So looking pretty good overall. Up to 92 Saturday, 93 on Sunday, about a 20% chance of an isolated shower. Today, great car washing conditions. Saturday and Sunday, fair, good. We'll call it that with a 20% chance of an isolated shower. Coming up, we'll let you know what you can expect as we go through the weekend and into the first next week in that 7-day.
Thanks, Joel. Now, this morning marks a little over 2 weeks from the last holiday weekend of the summer. Of course, that is Labor Day, and that means Mississippi police are gearing up to crack down on drinking and driving. One way they're doing so is by hosting a campaign event called Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over. Now, they tell WTVA most crashes are preventable.
And looking ahead, we're expecting repair work to close 2 Lee County roads for more than a month. The Lee County Road Department says it will close County Road 1009 from Highway 178 to County Road 1282. It will also close County Road 1282 to Drive 1009. These closures will begin on Monday and is expected to end on October 15th.
A grandmother is attacked at a gas station. Coming up on WTVA 9 News. We've got the caught on camera video. Find out what she thinks about the teens who beat her up.
Now, your WTVA Severe Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Joel Young.
Welcome back to WTVA 9 News today. The time is now 6:40. We are tracking the tropics. There are a couple of areas, actually three areas that we are watching right now for some possible development. Actually, we have some development that's already taken place. Tropical Storm Harvey out there now just east of the Lesser Antilles, just about to cross over into the Caribbean. It's moving west at 18 miles per hour. It will be there by the end of the day into the Caribbean. Winds are sustained at about 40 miles per hour. That is going to track to the east and likely remain a tropical storm, or maybe become a weak hurricane or a Category 1 hurricane, maybe making landfall or running right along the northern coast of Honduras early next week, then eventually making landfall over Belize as either a weak hurricane or a tropical storm with max sustained winds around 40 miles per hour, possibly even taking aim on Cancun. So if you have travel plans down in that area, you're going to want to watch that. We're also watching Tropical Wave Invest 92L. This one may be a little bit more concerning. I'm not going to necessarily overplay this necessarily, but it's moving to the west-northwest at 23 miles per hour. It has a 70% chance of development. If it gets a name, it will be Irma, or at least if it's the first storm that gets a name. That looks like it might take aim for the Florida Straits. We don't want that. We want it to recurve out to sea, which is still a possibility. Of course, we'll keep you updated in the coming days, but next we'll have your 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Joel. Well, it's finally here. Friday Night Fever begins tonight. Now, our sports team, of course, will be covering all of the local high school football games. Right now, let's check in with WTVA's Emma Packard to hear about our game of the week.
Thanks, Bill. I am at Shannon High School this morning because our game of the week is between Shannon and Corinth. For Shannon, the Red Raiders are led by head coach Daryl Carter. This is a very special season for the team because they've dedicated it to their former teammate, inside linebacker Cameron Billups, who died earlier this year. And for Corinth, the Warriors head coach is Todd Lowry. Corinth kicker Michael Bogus is dedicating the 2017 football season to help children with cancer. He will accept pledges and donations for each kick and punt he makes during the season to benefit childhood cancer research. He hopes to raise $1,000 to fund over 2 days of research. And for both teams, many of the same starters from last season will be returning this season. It sounds like it's going to be a great game, so don't forget to tune in to WTVA 9 News at 10 for our Friday Night Fever coverage. Reporting live in Shannon, Emma Packard, WTVA 9 News Today.
Happening today, the Mississippi Department of Transportation will dedicate the Leonard Morris Memorial Highway. And the ceremony will kick off at 10:30 in Batesville. Those who will participate should meet at the auditorium of MDOT's District 2 headquarters. This dedication will honor Morris, a longtime legislator in Panola County. And happening today in West Point, it's the 31st annual rodeo to benefit Clay County 4-H. The event will kick off at 7:30 tonight and tomorrow at the Kettleman Stockyard. Those 12 and under need to bring $5, while those over 12 will be $10. The money will go toward community growth and student competitions. People there can expect games or activities such as bull riding and barrel racing. Happening today in Louisville, we're expecting an annual popsicle run at 6 p.m. Now, bikers will begin on North Columbus Avenue and end at the Louisville Coliseum. And during the run, participants will be served water and popsicles. So bring out your lawn chairs and grab the kids to line up along the routes.
Right now, it's no discipline, it's no respect here in Wisconsin. These children is just, I don't know.
Well, you just heard from a grandmother who says teenagers beat her up after an attempted carjacking, and it was all caught on video. 50-year-old Sharon McKinney says she stopped at a gas station to get something to drink, but as she was returning to her car, check this out. Security video shows a teenage girl attacking her, throwing her to the pavement. She says that she has a fractured elbow and will need surgery on her shoulder, and this is going to cost her 2 months of work.
And at 6:45, we are tracking only a few clouds this morning, but what can we expect through the rest of your Friday? We'll have a look at that along with the weekend forecast and your 7-day next.
Now, your WTVA Severe Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Joel Young.
Welcome back. You're watching WTVA 9 News today. The time is now 6:48 on this Friday morning, and we are starting out with a pretty nice start with plenty of sunshine, a few clouds here and there, but looks like we're seeing a few more breaks in the cloud coverage there. Looks like Dorman Hall has a little bit of sunlight hitting it from the north side of it, and this is also looking back over the junction. Temperature around 70 degrees in Starkville. Your winds, well, they're calm right now. As we go through the next several hours, we'll see those temperatures climb. We'll see a lot of sunshine, 80 degrees by 9 a.m. By 11 a.m., we're around 87 degrees with a west-northwest wind at about 6 miles per hour. Here's a live look at Storm Track Doppler 9. You can see we have really no rainfall. There's maybe a few clouds here and there over parts of northwest Alabama. That's where our thickest cloud coverage appears to be at this point. Temperatures are all generally in the low 70s. Now, as we go through the day, we are going to see those temperatures climb quite a bit. So make no mistake, it's still going to be hot. But that front that moved through last night is going to bring slightly drier air to the area. Watch what happens on Storm Tracker as we time this out. This is 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to advance this into the 10 o'clock hour this morning. Notice we're expecting just a mixture of sun and clouds. We go into the lunchtime hour. We're going to see less cloud coverage. And notice we don't have any of those specks of green. In fact, something I see a lot of, especially when you have a cold front that moves through these fronts, notice how you have little streaks of clouds that go across here. You have little streaks back here as well. And notice you have more of that through the evening. What is that indicative of? That is a sign of a northerly dry flow, which means usually following this, as you go into the overnight and you stay clear, looks like we'll see temperatures drop into the upper 60s. That's a little bit of a sign of fall, folks, and it's perfectly timed because we have Friday Night Fever tonight, and that's, of course, going to be brought to you by Jim and Andy tonight on WTVA 9 News. We have Friday Night Fever. You can join them tonight. Game of the week is going to be actually Shannon and Corinth. Now, tomorrow, let's time this out. Lunchtime, all that summertime heat and humidity builds back into the area. We'll have a few spotty showers and storms build into the area once again. You're going to have to deal with that for your Saturday. You're going to have to deal with it again on Sunday. And it looks like we'll probably be dealing with it some through the next week as well. Highs today getting up to about 89 degrees in Boonville, Dumas, and Corinth as well. A little farther south, 90 in Phil Campbell, about 91 degrees in Amory, 91 in West Point, Columbus, Ackerman, 91 in Winona, 92 degrees farther south toward Macon, some of these spots. Heat index values likely anywhere from about 90 to about 95 or 96 today, but tomorrow it looks like it's going to heat up even more. One good thing is any showers and storms will bring some relief to that, and then as we go into the overnight hours, that will start to be a little less intolerable, we'll put it that way. So Saturday and Sunday, hot and humid, 92, 93 degrees, 92 on Monday. Monday being the eclipse, the question is, will we see rain? Will we see clouds? I think we're going to see spotty clouds just like any other day that we see this time of year. I think, of course, hopefully they won't sit in one spot too long so everybody will get a chance to see that eclipse. Keep your fingers crossed.
Thanks, Joel. A wedding anniversary turned nightmare coming up on WTVA 9 News today. We'll tell you about a wife's call to bring her husband home after the Barcelona attack. Stay tuned. And welcome back to WTVA 9 News Today. I'm Bill Hughes.
And I'm Katrina Berry. The time now is 6:54, and here's what you need to know as you head out the door. A California woman is desperate to find her husband, who she said is still missing in Barcelona after what authorities are calling a terrorist attack. The two were in Spain celebrating their first wedding anniversary. We have an update from the Associated Press that reports the death toll is now up to 14. More than 130 people were injured. As of now, 4 people have been arrested.
And now, happening now closer to home, the search is on for a man wanted for statutory rape in West Point. Police identify the man as 33-year-old Juan Rico Parker. If you see him, please contact the police immediately. And don't forget, you can get the latest news, weather, and sports by visiting our website, WTVA.com, or you can download the WTVA 9 News app. It gives you instant access to the latest news from across the area.
You can also stay on top of the big national stories as they happen. The new and improved WTVA News app is free and available for download for Apple and Android smartphones and tablets.
Well, it's Friday Night Fever.
It is Friday Night Fever. We have a lot of sunshine out there. We're getting rid of any cloud coverage that's out there. Tell you what, this front is making it just in time for Friday Night Fever. Now, I don't want to get everybody excited about this front. It's not a cold front. I really don't like the word cold front.
But it won't be 100 degrees when we sit out there and we cheer for our favorite high school team.
What she said. I mean, seriously, it's going to be a lot nicer. At least temperature-wise, we're going to see temperatures fall a little bit faster than we normally do in the evening because we're going to see less humidity. Sunshine right now, a few clouds here and there. Temperatures are in the lower 70s. Like I said, Friday Night Fever forecast. 87 at first. It is going to be hot, but it's going to feel like 87, 88, or 89. 79 at the second half, 78 by the final snap. We'll drop down into the upper 60s by tomorrow morning. So a nice morning to get out and enjoy maybe a cup of coffee out on the patio early in the morning. Yeah, that's probably about the only morning you're going to feel like that. 70s for the rest of the week and highs in the low 90s still. So we're not quite to fall, but a little bit here and there. A few tastes of it will lead to it.
All right.
I love fall.
Nice. All right. Thanks, Jill. And thanks so much for joining us this morning. Your network news is coming up next.
But for more local coverage, we continue WTVA 9 News Today on WLOV. Here's what's going on right now. Coming up next is Friday Night Fever, and we have exclusive coverage.
And to start us off, we have Emma Packard live at Shannon High School. Don't miss the preview of tonight's game. Stay tuned. WTVA 9 News on WLOV starts in just 3 minutes.